started making this music like 20 years ago. Was kinda timid and shifted the way I rock my clothes. Was underrated and hated the way the game was invaded. So now I spit like the greatest if y'all don't really know. I started thinking my music would never take me places. I knew the game, it was changing, but now I'm changing places. I went from student to teacher, and now I'm checking the preachers who took advantage of people instead of spreading love. I'm sick of waiting for people to wake and see the frauds. I'm changing how I'm approaching the ones who show me love. I operate like a surgeon for those who think that my words are simply chants for the birds, like I be speaking tongues. It's time to build for the kids and put yourself aside. I threw my hat in the ring, so now it's time to ride. You in the way, better step aside, cause I got the vibe of a killer monger, knowing I'm the king inside. Work hard cause I wanna get the bag. Time's up, about to show you who I am. MIC. Hold up, ain't no point in getting mad.
Why you mad?
Time's up, about to show you who's the man.
Mr. Council.
Work hard cause I wanna.
What's going on, folks? It's your main man, Mr. Council, Saturday Motivation. You know how we do. I chose Saturday because Saturday's the day that you leaking your own. Most people working 9 to 5, so by the time they get to Saturday, they feel it's necessary to take their foot off the gas. Most artists, creators, and business minds know the Saturday's the day to put your foot on the gas and handle your business. What's going on, good people? We're at episode 97. I'm so excited as we inch closer to the 100th episode of Saturday Motivation. Just saying that just makes me feel proud and accomplished more than anything. Like I said, it's more about the consistency and the level of content that I've been putting out. I know the people are going to catch on eventually, so make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe when you come in, share these videos, download the videos, get it to as many people as you can so this information can get out there. On this channel, I often talk about mindset. And I speak about it so much because I didn't understand the importance of it up until a couple years ago, probably say around the beginning of the pandemic, because that was a place where we all almost lost our minds. But in getting through that tough time period, understanding the level of mindset and how it can play a powerful role in your life actually changed my life during that time. And so I like to just share the information, because I don't want to make it seem like this is some new discovery that I'm stumbling upon. I mean, it might be for me, but it's already been out there. I'm just catching up to it. So I don't want to take a lot of credit for the things I discuss here, because this channel is bigger than me. What I'm talking about is bigger than me. And I feel like I'm just being led to do these things, and that's exactly what I'm talking about today. What you have to understand is, if you can change this one little perspective, then it can open up your mind to the greater good, I think, that we're here for. What you have to understand is, it's his show. And when I say it's his show, I mean God. See, oftentimes, because it's our life, we feel like we're in control. And to a large extent, that is true. But when you're somebody like me who chooses to be led by God throughout their journey, then you cannot come with the same mindset that everyone else has. See, a lot of people will go around professing that you're in charge. It's all about you. It's all about what you do that determines your fate. And a lot of that is true. But I feel like that's mostly true in a selfish nature, because if you take full control over your life, it is true you are responsible for the outcomes, but in my mind, you're putting yourself above everyone else. And see, I want to be led by God, and so the things that I do, the gifts and talents that I have, I feel like my job is to become the best at those gifts and talents as I possibly can. And through the Spirit of God, he will use me the way he sees fit. And see, oftentimes, some of us feel like once we get to a certain level of status or we make a certain level of money, that we feel like we know it all. And most of those people even buy into the idea that it was them who got themselves there. They ignored the circumstances that they were placed in, the people that were put in their life to help them, the person that was behind the scenes that they don't even know about that gave them a leg up by just giving them a word to someone else that could help them, and they had no idea. Like, we're so caught up in thinking that it's all about us, we can't see the forest for the trees. But what you have to understand is, oftentimes you have to step back and let go. When they say let go and let God, you have to let God do his thing. See, oftentimes we're lost and we don't know what to do. Even once we've discovered what our gifts and our talents are, we still don't know what's coming next. And so oftentimes we find ourselves in a waiting game. But throughout that waiting game, we're just waiting for something to happen. But in that waiting game, you're supposed to continue to sharpen your skills. Because when your time and your opportunity is called, you must be ready for what God has meant for you. And see, when you think about it in the terms of God running the show, then the pressure is taken off of you, and all you have to do is your job, and that is doing your gift and your talent to the best of your ability and letting God handle the rest. See, I don't want to be in charge, because if I'm in charge, then that means I have a greater understanding than God himself. Then it means I'm the one who knows exactly what's going on in this world and how I'm being used and how that's going to affect everybody that's around me. And I have no idea. I got a letter from one of my old players earlier this year that used to play basketball for me and who ended up getting himself to a point where he could play college ball. And I had no idea how the power of the influence that I made in this young man's life changed his life. Unless he had told me, if he didn't write that letter telling me that, I would have never known. But that doesn't even mean anything in the sense that it wasn't me that was responsible for his success. I was merely a player in that larger play. I was a character in that larger play, excuse me. And so God used me in a way in his life, but it wasn't about me. But that young man just happened to reach back and let me know the power of our dealings in our life situations, how it changed and impacted his life and catapulted him to another place. And that impacted me deeply. But what you need to understand is that we are being led. I am being led. So no, I am not necessarily in charge of my future because I am not God. God is using me for greater purposes that I may never even understand. And I may never understand those purposes because it has nothing to do with me. I should just feel blessed because God chose me. See, when things go wrong, people make it about them. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. And it has nothing to do with you. Oftentimes, God closes the door because you were not meant to go through that door, even though you thought that that was the door you were supposed to go through. See, God will stop you in your tracks, and all of a sudden you might think your world is crumbling, but he is saving your life in that moment because you don't know the dangers ahead. This world is an evil place. And when the evil people find out there are good people trying to do things, then those evil people get to work trying to shut that down. And God can foresee all of these situations that are ahead of you, and he will never put you in a situation to where you cannot complete his mission if you are being led by him. But he can shut you down if you think that you're the one that's in charge. You might get the money, but it won't make you happy. You might get the fame, but it won't make you happy. It will not make you fulfilled. And I will not get my fulfillment through money and fame. I'm going to get my fulfillment through duty and responsibility of my gifts. Because that is ultimately the thing that's going to make you happy and satisfied. Money's not going to do it. Money is a temporary fix. If you see people, just see somebody who was broke. and give them some money and wait a year. Just wait 1 year. And I guarantee you the mindset of that person that was broke and now has money will have returned. Within 1 year, they might have a bigger house. They might have a nicer car. They might have bought all the little toys and trinkets that you could possibly have, but nothing about their day-to-day life will have changed and improved because they thought money was going to make that better. See, money should be looked at as an additive to an already happy existence. If you aren't happy without money, you're not going to be happy with it. So if you don't understand that you need to be led by a greater power than yourself, then you've already lost the game. You might get a lot of the toys and trinkets that you were searching for, but those will not be the things that sustain your happiness. And that's what I'm looking for ultimately. Everybody's looking to be a millionaire or a billionaire. And people are just throwing numbers out there because they don't even understand the level of work that goes into accomplishing these things. But is being a millionaire going to make you happy? Or is having a loving marriage going to make you happy? Is being a billionaire going to make you happy, or having friends that you can lean on and trust with your innermost thoughts and secrets, and you can call when something goes wrong and they'll be there for you? Is it worth that? Is money worth that? Is it worth those things? I don't think so. And so many people that acquire all of this money and all of these things, and then they're in a castle by themselves because they have nobody there who truly loves and cares about them. And they can pay people to be around. You're going to get a whole lot of friends when you get a whole lot of money, but are those going to be the types of people that you really need in your life? 9 times out of 10, that's a no. Those same people will backstab you and do everything they can to remove you and separate you from that wealth that you've gained. So when you think about what you're doing in life, if the focus of that is money, then you've lost already. And that's what I used to think. I'm not even knocking you for thinking like that, because for a long time I felt like that until I understood that God is in control. I understand now that I have to surrender my life to Him. And in surrendering my life to Him, when things go wrong, I have to lean on Him in those situations. As opposed to getting mad at the world, I have to look to God. Now, I've been listening to a guy named Earl Nightingale. This is a guy from I think it was the 30s or 40s. He was putting out these record albums, one of the greatest motivational speakers to ever live. And a lot of the things that he discusses is relevant to today. Almost 100 years later, the things that he was talking about are still relevant today, and it just shows you the world has changed, but it really hasn't. But one thing I was listening to the other day is he has this 30-day challenge, to where he challenges you to not have a negative thought within those 30 days. But if you end up having a negative thought throughout those 30 days, then you have to start all over again from day one. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking that this is just going to go on forever, because it's impossible to not have a negative thought in 30 days, because you have to understand we're not even in control of our thoughts. Thoughts oftentimes just cross your mind. But I feel like the purpose of this exercise is that in trying to get the negativity out of your life, it's going to be a constant. You're not going to accomplish that in 30 days. And I don't even think that he expected you to. The whole purpose of the exercise was to practice redirecting your negative thoughts and changing them to be positive. And over time, you'll naturally begin to do those things. See, we've been trained to think a certain way for a long period of time. And we have to unlearn what we have learned if we're going to find true fulfillment in our lives. Because we've been programmed to feel a certain way. We've been programmed to react a certain way in certain situations. And we have to unprogram ourselves. And so in taking an activity like that, trying to be positive for 30 days, and if you are negative at any moment, then you have to begin again. That's an exercise that you're going to be working on the rest of your life. But throughout that, if you think 3, 6, 9 months from now, if you constantly practicing that, your entire mindset will change. And so for so long, if something negative were to happen to me, I would speak it into existence. Oh, I don't want to go this way because it's going to be traffic. Or I don't want to do this because that's going to happen, because those are things that have happened to us in the past. But that doesn't mean that those things will happen to us in the present if we take a different mindset into each situation. I'm going longer here, ladies and gentlemen. As we get past the 100th episode, I'm just going to start teaching. So if you're not here for what I'm about to give, then you might as well go ahead and scroll on and go to another page. But we taking everything to another level, because I'm truly trying to help people. And if you made it all the way here to 15 minutes plus, and that means you really are connecting with what I'm saying. You know it's truth coming out of my mouth. So understand that it's his show. You're just a character in his play. You don't know the beginning of the story, and you won't be here to see the end, but that doesn't mean that your part won't be relevant in the greater good of the entire experience. But take some pressure off yourself and understand that God is in control. So if something negative happens to you, stop for a moment and ask God why you're in this situation. What you think you can do to get out of it without taking your headspace to someplace negative. Retraining your mind to when something bad happens, you react positively. When I was driving, I just got back from Washington, D.C., and I was on my way, when I was doing some driving yesterday, my check engine light came on, and I just knew, I said before the trip that was going to happen. And it happened. But when it happened, I smiled. I didn't get upset. I didn't overreact. I just smiled. And I laughed because at first it was a joke, because I spoke it into existence, number one. And number two, my car was running smoothly. So it was nothing to overreact to. It's not like it started shaking and smoking and the world was crashing down. All I had to do was remain calm. Now I just left my mechanic. It's a small minor issue with my car. It's going to cost me a little bit in the end, but it's not a big deal. I could have made it a big deal. I could have ruined the rest of my day by getting upset. And normally 9 times out of 10, I would have done that. But I've been on a different journey the past couple of years, and I am not going to allow negativity to take hold of my avatar. I'm not going to do it. I'm retraining my mind to be in a positive space most times. Now, I'm not perfect. I go negative a lot. But I've changed that in so many different ways. And the more and more I keep practicing it, the more I'm retraining my mind to become the man that God needs me to be to fulfill my mission. So please understand that you are not in control. This is God's show. And if you are truly being led by him, you have to be open to the possibility of him. You have to be open to where he's taking you through, the road he's taking you through, so you can learn the things that you need to know, so you can be prepared for whatever it is that he needs you for. Because when you take the mindset that you're in charge and it's all about you, all of the outcomes, the responsibility of those outcomes fall on you. And I'm talking about positive and negative outcomes for the people around you. So many people don't even understand how much negativity they bring to the people around them. And that's another reason why you need to retrain your mind to be positive. So if I can motivate you today, understand that God is in control. And if you surrender your life to Him, all you need to do is become dutiful and responsible to the gifts and talents that He has given you, and He will take you exactly where you need to be. That's my time. Peace to all my people in the struggle.
Let me go. I don't want your love around me anymore, so let it go. Save your sorry and back off me and let me go. Here we go. Please don't stalk me and back off me and let me go. Let it go. I don't want your love around me anymore, so let me go. Thursday marks the day we met 8 years ago. On that day I felt I met incredible. Can't tell me she wasn't just for me for sure. She made me feel like I was invincible. Told me I was all she needed, I suppose. Guess all that she needed was my banking book. Found out she's entangled with some other guy. Now I know for 8 years that she told me that. Let it go. I don't want